It was one of those deceptively peaceful Sunday evenings, the kind of quiet that strips away your defenses and leaves you exposed to uncomfortable truths. The weight of accumulated disappointments had become too heavy to ignore, and self-deception finally lost its grip. I didn't plan on ruining my marriage that night. Sarah, my closest friend since college, stopped by unannounced. Sensing I needed company, we sat in the warm amber glow of a single lamp, a half-empty bottle of wine gradually dissolving my emotional armor. As far as I knew, Nathan was upstairs, working on one of his many unfinished projects in the storage room. Lately, conversations between us had become sparse and strained. We still went through the motions: meals cooked, bills paid, polite exchanges, but the emotional intimacy had withered to a fragile thread. "I don't know, Sarah," I confessed, pressing my fingers into my temples. "Some days I just wish I hadn't married him." The moment the words left my lips, I felt a visceral twist of regret, as if I had released something dark and irreversible into the air. Sarah stared at me, her brow furrowed. "You don't mean that," she said too quickly. But the truth was complicated. I did mean it. In that tired, overwhelmed part of me running on emotional fumes, my love for Nathan had become heavy, obligatory, something I carried out of habit rather than desire. Somewhere on the dark staircase, Nathan heard every word. I didn't see him or hear a sound. But later, I would imagine the look on his face, frozen listening to the woman he built a life with quietly confess regret to a friend. The clean break. The next morning I noticed the absence before I saw it. The house felt hollow. The coffee machine was silent. Nathan's keys weren't by the door. And his boots, which he always placed neatly side by side, were gone. He always kissed me goodbye, even after an argument. By noon, my anxiety had boiled over. His phone went straight to voicemail. I texted, but got nothing back. Then I saw it. An unread email. His name in the sender line. The subject was a single, devastating word: farewell. I opened it with trembling hands. "I overheard you last night," it read. "I wasn't meant to, but I did. You weren't angry. You weren't yelling. That was your truth. And that truth shattered me. I gave you everything I had. I tried. I kept showing up. And all this time you've been quietly regretting me. I won't stay where I am merely tolerated. Don't look for me. The divorce papers are already filed. I'm not bitter. I just refuse to be someone's mistake." I sat motionless, reading those words again and again. There was no bitterness in his tone, just quiet resignation, a clean break. I rushed to his office building, but the receptionist confirmed he had resigned that morning and cleared his desk. By that afternoon, his number was disconnected, and his social media accounts were wiped. Nathan had deliberately erased himself from the world we once shared. Friends knew nothing. His brother was vague, saying only that Nathan needed space and wanted no contact. Then, the divorce papers arrived. Everything was filled out, his signature already in place. I wasn't asked. I was informed. My role was reduced to a formality. Sign here. The weight of regret. I waited for rage or denial, but all I felt was an unbearable guilt and grief, not just for the man I'd lost, but for the love I'd allowed to wither. I remembered the little gestures, the way he rubbed my back when I couldn't sleep, the note he left on the fridge with a doodle and a heart. He hadn't stopped trying. The cruelest part was that I didn't even say those awful words to him. I said them about him when I thought he wasn't listening. That betrayal, the quiet, hidden kind, was worse than any fight because it was born of a truth I didn't have the courage to tell him to his face. Months passed. I tried to find him, even hiring a private investigator, but there was nothing. No new residence, no bank activity, no paper trail. Nathan hadn't just left me. He had vanished into the shadows to reclaim his peace. I understood finally. For Nathan, hearing those words was a revelation. It confirmed that I had stopped choosing him, that I stayed out of habit, not love. And so he did the bravest thing imaginable. He let go. I stare at the ceiling now, wondering where he is, if he's happy, if someone else gets to wake up beside him now, knowing he's the best decision they ever made. Because that's what he was for me. Only I realized it too late. Nathan vanished without vengeance, leaving behind no trace, just the echo of a single sentence. I will regret it for the rest of my life.